Most people believe that their emotions and energy stay inside their own body. They think that what they feel is private, contained, and only affects them. But what if that belief is not only incomplete, but also the hidden reason why so many relationships feel exhausting, confusing, or strangely painful? Right now, in this moment, you are not as separate from the people you love as you think you are. There is an invisible connection between you and them, one that quantum physics has been trying to explain for decades. It is called entanglement. And when it happens between two human beings, it becomes one of the most powerful forces in your life. You have probably already felt it, even if you never had a name for it. You walk into a room and instantly feel heavy, even though nothing has been said. You think about someone you love and suddenly they call or text you. You feel anxious for no clear reason, only to discover later that the person closest to you was going through something difficult at that exact moment. These are not coincidences. They are evidence of something much deeper. This is not about manifesting your partner or forcing someone to change. This is about understanding the actual mechanism through which your inner state directly influences the people you care about most, and how their state influences you in return. Once you understand this, you can no longer pretend that your mood, your thoughts, and your emotional frequency are only your own business. They are shared, they are felt, and they are shaping the relationships you value the most. Let's begin with something most people never question. When two people are in a close relationship, whether romantic, family, or deep friendship, something happens at the level of energy that science is only beginning to understand. Their nervous systems begin to synchronize. Their heart rhythms start to influence each other. Their emotional states begin to mirror one another, sometimes within seconds. This is not just psychology, this is physics. In quantum mechanics, when two particles become entangled, they remain connected even when separated by vast distances. Whatever happens to one particle is instantly reflected in the other. Distance does not weaken the connection. Time does not erase it. The two particles behave as if they are still one system. Human beings are not particles. But the principle appears to scale up in remarkable ways when two people become deeply connected. Their emotional and energetic fields begin to entangle. One person's vibration does not stay contained within their own body. It reaches the other person and begins to affect their state, often without either of them realizing what is happening. This is why you can feel someone's anxiety before they say a word. This is why being around certain people lifts you up, while being around others drains you completely. This is why, after spending time with someone, you sometimes feel like yourself again, or sometimes feel like a completely different version of yourself. The connection is real, and it is measurable. Most people go through their relationships completely unaware of this exchange. They believe that their partner's bad mood is their partner's problem. They think their own stress only affects them. They assume that if they just communicate better or try harder, the relationship will improve. But communication is only the surface. Beneath the words, beneath the arguments, beneath the silence, there is an energetic exchange happening constantly. And until this exchange is understood and consciously directed, most relationships remain stuck in cycles that neither person fully understands. Think about the last time you were in a difficult emotional state. How did it affect the people closest to you? Did they become more anxious, more distant, or more reactive? Now think about the reverse. When someone you love is in a low state, how quickly does it pull you down with them? This is entanglement in action. The more emotionally bonded two people are, the stronger this connection becomes. It is why parents can sense when something is wrong with their child, even from far away. It is why long-term partners often finish each other's sentences or feel each other's pain. It is why some relationships feel like they are meant to be, while others feel like they are constantly fighting an invisible force. The force is not invisible, it is energetic, and it is governed by the same principles that govern the quantum world. So what actually happens when two people become entangled? At the level of energy, their fields begin to overlap and influence one another. This does not mean they lose their individuality. It means their individual states are no longer completely separate. One person's calm can stabilize the other. One person's anxiety can destabilize both. One person's hope can lift the shared field, while one person's despair can pull it down. This is why some relationships feel like they are constantly in conflict, even when both people love each other. It is not always because they are incompatible. It is often because their vibrations are in constant battle. One person is trying to rise while the other is unconsciously pulling the shared field downward, or both are unconsciously feeding each other's worst patterns. The opposite is also true. Some relationships feel almost magical because the two people's vibrations support and amplify each other. Being together feels natural and energizing rather than draining. This is not luck. This is entanglement working in their favor. The question is no longer whether this connection exists. The real question is, are you aware of it? And more importantly, are you directing it consciously? Most people are not. They are entangled, but they are entangled unconsciously. The relationship is being shaped by whichever vibration is strongest in the moment, rather than by intention. This is why so many relationships feel like emotional roller coasters. The field between them is being tossed around by whatever either person is feeling at any given time. Let's make this practical. Imagine two people who love each other deeply. One of them comes home carrying heavy stress from work. They don't say much, but their energy is tight, heavy, and scattered. Within minutes, the other person begins to feel tense as well. They might not even know why. They just feel off. If this pattern continues over weeks or months, both people start to believe that something is wrong with the relationship, when the real issue is that one person's unprocessed state is constantly affecting the shared field. Now imagine the reverse. One person comes home and consciously chooses to regulate their state before entering the shared space. They take a few minutes to breathe, release what they no longer need to carry, and return to a calmer frequency. When they enter the room, the other person feels lighter, even if they don't know why. The shared field remains stable instead of being pulled into chaos. This is the difference between unconscious entanglement and conscious entanglement. One creates suffering, the other creates safety. Now, let's go deeper into how this actually works. When two people are emotionally close, their nervous systems begin to co-regulate. This is a well-documented phenomenon in psychology and neuroscience. But what most people don't realize is that this co-regulation happens at the level of energy long before it shows up in behavior or words. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond your body. When two people are in close proximity or even thinking about each other with strong emotion, their fields interact. This interaction creates a shared field between them. Whatever is dominant in that shared field begins to influence both people. This is why you can sometimes feel someone's emotional state even when they are far away. The connection does not require physical presence. It requires emotional and energetic resonance. The stronger the bond, the stronger the entanglement. This is why family members, romantic partners, and close friends often experience each other's emotions more intensely than they experience the emotions of strangers. The field between them is more entangled. Understanding this changes everything about how you approach relationships. You stop asking, why is this person affecting me so much? And start asking, what am I bringing into the shared field right now? You stop trying to fix the other person and start taking responsibility for the vibration you are contributing to the connection. This is not about blame. This is about power. The moment you understand that your state affects the person you love, you gain the ability to influence the relationship at its root instead of constantly reacting to its symptoms. Let's look at some real examples of how this plays out. A woman had been in a relationship for 3 years. She noticed that whenever her partner was anxious about work, she would become anxious too, even when her own life was stable. She tried talking to him about it, but the conversations often led to arguments. After learning about energetic entanglement, she began a simple practice. Every evening, before her partner came home, she would spend 10 minutes regulating her own state. She would breathe, release tension, and consciously choose the frequency she wanted to bring into their shared space. Within 3 weeks, something shifted. Her partner still had stressful days, but the shared atmosphere in their home no longer collapsed into anxiety the moment he walked through the door. She had not changed him, she had changed the field between them. Another example involves a mother and her teenage son. The son was going through a difficult phase and was often irritable and withdrawn. The mother found herself becoming reactive and emotional in response. Their relationship grew increasingly tense. When she began consciously working with their entanglement, she stopped trying to fix his mood and instead focused on maintaining her own calm and loving frequency. Over time, the son became less reactive, not because she forced him to change, but because the shared field between them became more stable and safe. These examples are not rare. They happen whenever someone becomes conscious of the energetic connection that already exists. Now let's move into the practical techniques you can use to work with entanglement consciously. Technique 1, the shared field reset. This is the foundation. Before interacting with someone you are entangled with, take 60 to 90 seconds to regulate your own state. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. Breathe slowly and deeply. With each exhale, consciously release any tension, worry, or emotion that does not belong in the shared field. Set an intention for the quality of energy you want to bring into the connection. This simple practice prevents you from unconsciously dumping your state onto the other person. It also makes you less likely to absorb their state without awareness. Technique 2, conscious entanglement practice. Once per day, sit quietly and bring the person you love into your awareness. Do not try to send them anything specific. Instead, simply feel the connection between you. Notice the quality of the field that exists between the two of you right now. Then gently allow your own state to become calmer, warmer, and more coherent. Do this without forcing or trying to change them. Simply become a more stable presence in the shared field. This practice strengthens the positive aspects of your entanglement over time. Technique 3, the mirror technique. When you notice that the other person's state is affecting you strongly, pause and ask yourself, is this mine, theirs, or ours? This question creates a small space of awareness. Then consciously decide what you want to contribute to the field instead of automatically mirroring their state. This does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means choosing your response rather than reacting unconsciously. Technique 4, energetic boundary practice. Some people become overly entangled and lose themselves in the other person's emotions. For these situations, practice creating a gentle, energetic boundary. Visualize a soft field of light around your body, not hard or defensive, but clear. This allows you to remain compassionate while staying centered in your own energy. You can still feel the other person without becoming consumed by their state. Technique 5, healing through the shared field. When there is tension or pain in the relationship, instead of trying to fix it through conversation alone, spend time consciously sending coherence into the shared field. Sit quietly and feel the connection between you. Then allow your own energy to become peaceful and loving. Do not try to force the other person to change. Simply become a healing presence in the field you both share. Many people report that conversations become easier and conflicts resolve more naturally after this practice. Technique 6, daily vibration check-in. Every morning, take 2 minutes to check the quality of the shared field with the people you love most. Ask yourself, what am I currently contributing to this connection? If the answer is stress, fear, or resentment, take a few moments to shift your state before the day begins. This prevents unconscious patterns from running the relationship. There are several common mistakes people make when working with entanglement in relationships. The first mistake is trying to control the other person's state. This almost always backfires. You cannot force someone else to vibrate higher. You can only take responsibility for your own contribution to the shared field. When you try to control them, you often create resistance and push the field further out of balance. The second mistake is becoming overly merged. Some people lose all sense of self in their relationships. They absorb everything the other person feels and lose their own center. This is not healthy entanglement. Conscious entanglement requires both connection and individuality. The third mistake is ignoring your own state while trying to help the other person. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are depleted, anxious, or emotionally unstable, your presence in the shared field will reflect that, no matter how good your intentions are. The fourth mistake is using entanglement as an excuse. Some people say, "I can't help how I feel because of our connection," as a way to avoid taking responsibility for their own emotions. This is the opposite of conscious entanglement. Awareness should lead to greater responsibility, not less. Once you understand quantum entanglement in relationships, you can begin to apply it in more advanced ways. You can use it to support someone you love through difficult times without losing yourself. You can use it to create deeper intimacy and trust. You can use it to heal old wounds in the relationship by changing the frequency of the shared field. You can even use it to maintain connection during periods of physical distance. The most advanced application is learning to become a stabilizing force in the relationship. Instead of being pulled into every emotional wave, you learn to hold a steady, coherent frequency. This does not mean being emotionless. It means becoming someone whose presence brings calm rather than chaos. This level of mastery changes not only your romantic relationships, but also your relationships with family members, children, and close friends. You become someone who can be trusted with another person's energy because you have learned to steward your own. There is one final truth that must be understood. Quantum entanglement in relationships is not just about feeling each other's emotions. It is also about co-creating the future of the relationship. The shared field between two people is not neutral. It is creative. Whatever is consistently held in that field tends to manifest in the relationship over time. This is why couples who consistently focus on problems tend to create more problems. And couples who consistently focus on connection, appreciation, and love tend to experience more of those qualities. The field is always listening, and it is always responding. Your vibration does not just affect how you feel, it affects what the relationship becomes. This is both a responsibility and a profound opportunity. You are not powerless in your relationships. You are one half of a living, breathing, energetic system. And the state you bring to that system matters more than most people will ever understand. If this video opened something in you, comment the word "entangled" below. I will reply with a simple daily practice for working with the shared field in your most important relationships. If you want to go deeper into quantum principles applied to love and connection, subscribe to Quantum Soul Lab and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.